Welcome to Story Adventures. My name is Meredith, and today we are going to be taking an adventure with a scarecrow. With the book, hopefully, the Scarecrow. Now, scarecrows where I live can be important parts of our landscape. The state where I live, in the United States, we have a lot of farms. And farms sometimes use things like scarecrows to help keep birds and other animals from coming onto the farmland and eating all the seeds or all the plants and vegetation that's growing on the farm. So you can drive around my state and see a lot of scarecrows. And sometimes in my state, we even have different events around scarecrows where people will make really cool, interesting scarecrows wearing different clothes and different outfits and doing different things. And you can go and look at all of these different, interesting scarecrows. There's even one place near me where they hide them all around on their land, and you have to go walking around and see if you can find all of them. So it's lots of fun. So here in Vermont, we really love scarecrows, and I really love this scarecrow book. So let's read Hopefully the Scarecrow. A scarecrow stood in the garden, tall, proud, smiling. Like most of us, he didn't remember the very beginning of his days. He only knew he was created with loving hands, carefully crafted, wonderfully made. He did remember the first time she placed him on his perch. She set him up straight, stood back, and smiled. "Hopefully the scarecrow will keep the birds away," she'd said. He hadn't known his name was Hopefully, but he liked it. So that's an interesting sentence because she's saying, hopefully, comma, see, hopefully, comma, the scarecrow will keep the birds away. So she's hoping the scarecrow will keep the birds away. But the way the scarecrow hears that sentence, he hears hopefully the scarecrow, as if she's saying the name of the scarecrow is Hopefully, which he really likes. That's one reason punctuation can be important. Punctuation includes commas and periods, question marks, exclamation points. So many different ways we use punctuation to help us get across our meaning. Hopefully the scarecrow also liked stories. He couldn't read, of course, but she could. Every day she brought her favorite books to the garden and she read to him. And as she read, the scarecrow journeyed over rocky cliffs and sailed rolling seas and met kings and queens and dragons and other scarecrows. He heard tales of courage and of hope. And when she said, "The end," the scarecrow always felt a little bit taller and a little bit braver. One day, just after the beans withered and the corn stalks turned brown and the air became bitey and brisk, her two sturdy hands lifted him from his perch and placed him carefully in the shed. "Hopefully, the scarecrow will be okay in there all winter," she said. And again, there's that comma, but the scarecrow is probably hearing "hopefully the scarecrow" as one phrase together. He was alone and the shed was dark, but he was warm and dry, and he didn't worry because she had said it herself. He would be okay during the long, cold winter. Besides, he had all her stories nestled deep in the straw beneath his hat to keep him company. I like how he describes this as the straw beneath his hat. So what would be the straw beneath your hat? Your brain, maybe, your mind, maybe your hair too, but he has all these stories nestled in there. Finally, when the Scarecrow heard the birds return from the south, and the daylight lingered past dinner time, and the air smelled fresh and green, the thin crack of door light widened, and he was once again returned to the garden. So now we can see he went through winter in the shed, and now spring is coming. It's time to return the Scarecrow to the garden. Year after year, she came and she read to him. As the books got bigger, the stories got scarier and funnier and sweeter. And year after year, just after the beans withered and the corn stalks turned brown and the air became crisp and brisk, her two sturdy hands would lift him from his perch and place him carefully in the shed. "Hopefully, I'll see you in the spring," he heard her say one fall just before she closed the door. That next spring, after the Scarecrow heard the birds return from the south, and daylight lingered past dinner time, and the air smelled fresh and green, the thin crack of door light widened, and two different hands placed him in the garden, where he, hopefully, waited. After all, she had said she'd see him in the spring, but she didn't come read to him. So he heard, "Hopefully, I'll see you in the spring." But what she meant was, hopefully, maybe, I might see you in the spring. Two different things. The next day, a soaking rain made the Scarecrow's flannel droop, and thunder shook the ground beneath his wobbly legs. But he was not discouraged. Day after day, the summer sun glared, and soon the Scarecrow's smile started to fade. Once a mean wind shoved him sideways and took his hat far away. Still, she did not come, and the Scarecrow was lonely. Her stories filled his head, and he remembered that to journey over rocky cliffs and sail rolling seas and face monsters, one must be brave. So he, hopefully, waited for a very long time until one day, two familiar hands straightened his perch and smoothed his weathered shirt. "Oh my, look at you," she said. "Hopefully, I can fix this." With some patches, a dab of paint, and a new straw hat, the Scarecrow's smile brightened. He wondered if she'd brought new stories, but her hands were empty. And when she lifted him, perch and all, from the garden, the Scarecrow was confused, but not afraid. They were going somewhere together. "Hopefully the Scarecrow will love it here," he heard her say, and he knew she was right. And she brought him to the library, where she's reading stories and having a story time, and hopefully is getting to listen. And that is the book, Hopefully, the Scarecrow. Hopefully you like that book as much as I do too. Well, thank you for listening today, and I can't wait for our next story adventure. Bye for now. Thanks for watching Story Adventures with Meredith. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.